It's the 4th of August 2020 and the Northern Hemisphere tropical cyclone season is really ramping up with hurricane strength storms occurring recently in the Atlantic, Eastern Pacific, Central Pacific and Western Pacific. And we have a long way to go with this season. Hurricane Isaias made landfall in North Carolina as a Category 1 hurricane. It's now officially weakened to a tropical storm, but it's sweeping up the east coast and interacting with an uplevel trough. Here it is, currently rapidly moving up the eastern seaboard, and you can see all the bright lights of the many cities. Particularly on the right flank of the storm, there's going to be some very, very strong winds, and coming into areas like Delaware, and it's going to hit into New York prior to reaching the US. Isaias impacted a number of Caribbean nations, including Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, Haiti, all had significant power outages and some deaths, and also the Bahamas, of course. As the storm continues up the coast of the eastern US, it's going to bring tropical storm force winds into the coastline areas, and the good news is that because it's moving so rapidly, the rain will be very heavy for a time, but it won't last for too long. And there we have it going into New York at the end there. That's tropical storm winds straight into the coastal regions near New York. Amazingly, Isaias is actually the 5th named storm to make landfall in the continental US after Bertha, Cristobal, Faye, and Hannah. And it's the earliest on record that 5 Atlantic named storms have made continental US landfall by this time in the year. Meanwhile, in the Western Pacific, we've had Typhoon Hagupit, which intensified to the north of Taiwan and then has slammed into eastern China. It looks like it's heading up to give Shanghai a bit of a hard time. The amazing thing here is that we've got Nishi-no-shima volcano erupting, if you can just see it in there. And the smoke plume, or volcanic ash plume, comes out and then it goes all the way back, wraps into the north of the typhoon, and sort of has stagnated here. I guess it gets into the clouds a bit. Surprisingly, one of the biggest problems with Hagupit or Pit is that it's going to bring a band, by the looks of things, a band of very heavy rain into North Korea. And look at this thing, it just stays there. That's totally topping off on the scale into the pinks, and it stays there for some time. I think this is a potential very serious flooding event for North Korea. How much information will get out from that country, though, is another question. I think that if this model is correct and we do get this event, we're looking at a very serious flooding event for North Korea, because it's getting up above the 3,000 millimeters of rain over a short period, so over a large area. That looks like a significant problem for North Korea. Cold core low pressure system has brought cool conditions into Tasmania and Victoria, and the system moves out into the Tasman Sea, and you can see it's another tight system wrapping out and going off and heading towards New Zealand. A small little meso low can be seen wrapping up off the west coast of Tasmania, and you can also see the extensive snow cover that's developed over the central plateau and over a large area of central Tasmania. What? That didn't quite work out. Alright, my beer is finished, which means I've got to wrap this up. And the main thing in the 10-day forecast we're looking at here with the GFS is actually over in western India along the Western Ghats. That is very, very heavy rain, persistent rain into the Western Ghats. That's going to cause some problems most likely. There's not too much tropical cyclone activity that I can see. Can you see anything? Yeah. I don't know, there's more East Coast activity in Australia. It seems like it's been a bit of an active area a year for the East Coast of Australia. Seems to be something active there. A band of thunderstorms that comes through. Looks like the 6th active thunderstorms coming into northern Queensland and into New South Wales. That's interesting. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Okay, see you in the next one.